Yes, the PC Gamer thing. Oh, man.
Yeah.
The cover piece. We actually have a copy of this issue of PC Gamer downstairs. Yeah. It's the most ambitious expansion we've ever made.
Yep, this is it feels bad, like this fairly bad for Stephen Messner, who handled this piece for PC Gamer, and obviously he immediately disillusioned with Shadowlands, destroyed it for PC Gamer, and then left. But it's brutal seeing this now, like seeing the marketing of an expansion in hindsight. WoD feels pretty bad, but this different story. Like,
it's finding ways to break new ground.
Yeah.
No decision in World of Warcraft matters more than your race and class. Every character from hardcore raiders to that level 14 undead warlock you started 6 years ago on a whim but never touched again is defined by these two traits. And few of the choices you make in the countless hours that unfold after starting a new adventure are ever as meaningful. Ready, everyone? World of Warcraft Shadowlands is going to change that. By Stephen Messner, I'm sorry.
Then they unchanged it.
And as this was happening, everyone in the community was telling them this was a bad idea.
Yep, that's the worst part of all. The worst part of all. Yep.
I feel like we should just frame this and then ship it to Blizzard. Be like, here's a gift.
Yeah, choice and consequence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a whole load of... I went through this earlier. I was like, man, there's so many quotes here. It just feels so bad. Like,
it's an opportunity for Blizzard to tear the veil off an entirely new part of the Warcraft universe, one that wasn't spelled out in in-game manuals, tie-in novels, or lore bibles decades ago. Yeah. What great lore they made. Many of our past expansions had a clear anchor in some large established villain piece of lore, a place in the world, game director Ian Hazzikostas tells me. There were some reams of novels that have been written or past references in games like Warcraft or otherwise, but Shadowlands really started from almost a footnote, frankly. It's a world created largely whole cloth from the imaginations of our artists and our narrative designers. But Ian, I thought it was stringing together 20 years of story. Fuck me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good that they it's really good that they didn't touch Warcraft 3 in any capacity.
Yep.
All of those novels and references they didn't figure out. They just went completely original. It was, you know, honestly, it was really helpful, because I don't know about you guys, I was getting really tired of Warcraft 3 lore. I was like, man, could you stop bringing back things from the past? Could you do something entirely unique and interesting? I'm so tired of orcs and humans and night elves. I'm just so bored of the undead. The Forsaken, who cares? Who cares about those?
Lame.
The Lord who? I don't care. This is all boring. Give me the new thing, the cool new thing from your finest minds. Thank you.
That cycle is broken. Now every soul that enters the gets... What? Now every soul...
the Shadowlands.
Oh, yeah. Now every soul that enters the Gets Express pass straight to the worst of its hells, a fifth nightmarish realm known as the Maw.
Yeah, I thought that was grim, because I read that and I went, oh yeah, there are more realms of the Shadowlands. I forgot, because you never made it important.
Yeah, glad that was explored. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, dead straight. Oh boy, dead straight. Lessons learned from past mistakes like that can be found everywhere in Shadowlands. Battle for Azeroth, for example, tried to tell an intricate, multifaceted story that changed depending on what faction you belong to, with an overarching plot about old gods woven in between. In addition to zone stories that were disconnected from one another, so the players could tackle them in any order. It made Battle for Azeroth's narrative jumbled and incoherent. Shadowlands changes all of that. And you would have thought so based on how they marketed it. But it turns out that the A-plot between those zones was tying into the Anima Drought, which honestly is basically almost a freaking footnote.
Yeah.
In the actual story of like the jailer, what he wants, what is he doing, etc., etc.
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's cool. And of course, they then fractured all of that between the Covenant storylines, immediately going back from that. So,
Yeah. Excellent.
We were talking.
Yeah, we're talking about Shadowlands.
Yeah, we're talking about going to Shadowlands, Denuser explains. We wanted to tell a more focused and straightforward story.
About the fractals and shit.
About the fractals. And, okay, interesting quote there, Steve. Very good, very cool. Very believable. It's a deterministic system that gives players total control over which legendaries they want. The idea is that over time, players will amass a collection of legendaries that will suit different situations.
That's technically true.
Technically true, but not how it panned out, really.
Yep, that was a best case scenario.
Blizzard is pivoting to focus on giving you more control over your adventure by locking you into covenants. That worked out really well.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately worked. Just 2 patches later, because I got to change from Holy Paladin to Resto Shaman and then to Resto Druid, and I didn't feel that fingered.
Yeah.
That said, I'm still very behind on Renown, but sure, that's my fault.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's come from listening to the community, and it's evolving the game in a way we think is more fun. Player agency is something we've heard a lot in terms of desire from the community, as Acosta says.
Choice quote.
Yep. Turns out Choice is not what they thought it was.
No.
Choice is not what they thought it was. They
Yeah.
misunderstood some things.
Yeah, this is just, like, to me, this was really frustrating to read because I'm like...
Oh, it was brutal to read, yeah.
So, hang on. Let me just type something into Google. Shadowlands best-selling PC game.
And
yeah, so the latest WoW expansion came out on November 23rd. According to a December 8th press release from Blizzard, as the first full day of Shadowlands' launch, more than 3.7 million units have been sold through globally, making it the, in bold, fastest-selling PC game of all time industry-wide. Now, that's funny because it lost that and 2 days later with Cyberpunk. Does that mean Elden Ring? Maybe not. But see all those sales. All those sales were based on marketing, which was this marketing. This stuff that we just went through. And we look back at Shadowlands. We look back at 9.1. We look at 9.2. Was this all basically a bunch of best case scenario lies? Or did they fully believe this and it just didn't work out?
Remember, this is the most ambitious expansion they've ever made, but also it only has 2 major patches and they've always planned that. Reconcile these statements.
Easy. I can do it easy. Ambition is not what you should do after BFA. After BFA, ambition is the last thing that should be on your mind.
Yep.
After BFA, making, please, can we have half the success of Legion should be on your mind. Not, let's tell everyone this is going to be great, believe it's going to be great, and accomplish none of our goals. And then have to go through the same problem of, oh, we're so sorry, we will make it good over patches. It's that case of, it doesn't, like, it does matter at the time, but, you know, that they mean what they say, because, you know, there's a difference between intentionally lying and, you know, accidentally lying, but it feels like a lie in the same expansion 2 patches later, a year and a half later, and a bunch of marketing that pushes us into, and a bunch of psychology rewarding that pushes into 6-month subs. It's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
This is all very anti-player.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we thought it was worth going to what this expansion was sold on.
Yep.
And
yeah, this is just one article.
Oh yeah, and then the other thing that I have enjoyed so much is people bringing up even decently recent interviews.
Yeah.
Many are from Steve as well, where it's like, yeah, man, didn't really feel like that.
Don't treat your players like that, please. That's the gist of it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Stop being salesmen, start being game developers.
And that's the problem. We rarely see them talk as game devs. We really just seem to see them talk as salesmen.